Hey, this is Kampai Cam, and today we're heading to Mount Kintoki for a short, sweet climb capped off by this incredible view. Then, on the way back down, we'll stop by an onsen for a soak to take in a little more of Fujisan, and then grab a bite to eat. It's going to be a fantastic day out in nature in Japan, so let's get to it. Now, where are we exactly? This is Hakone, a popular tourist destination about an hour from Tokyo by bullet train. It's famous for its hot springs and natural beauty, not to mention its large lake with Fuji views, as well as various shrines, temples, museums, and more. Mount Kintoki, or Mount Ashigara as it's also known, is in Sengokuhara, a region in the northwest of Hakone. The hike will take us from around 700 metres above sea level up to the summit at 1212 metres, and the route you're looking at now is probably about a 3-hour round trip, except that I bailed out about here because I wanted to get off the beaten path. Bath. Hakone is pretty well covered by buses, so almost regardless of where you're staying, you should be able to find public transport to get you to the main trailhead. That said, you don't have to stay in Hakone. I came in for the day from Odawara, so I could stay on the bullet train line, and it only took me an hour to get to the start of the trail. There's some gorgeous scenery on the way in too, as the bus winds its way along a rocky river and through some steep, mountainous countryside. This meandering road is pretty spectacular, a mess of lush greenery framing a series of hypnotic turns. It really does feel like setting out on an adventure in the mountains. That feeling dissipated somewhat as I walked past the obligatory konbini after getting off the bus, but hey, this is Japan. I'm pretty sure it's the law that you need to have a konbini in sight at all times. And besides, once we get to the trail itself, I'm sure we'll be surrounded by nothing but untouched forests and... Wait a sec, is that an Evangelion toilet block? I guess it's not that surprising. Fans may already be aware that the classic anime's Tokyo 3 setting is based in and around Hakone. In the series, the city itself is actually built along the shore of Lake Ashinoko, and key events in the anime correspond to real-life locations in Hakone. Some of these have been given Evangelion makeovers, such as this restroom, which has been decked out as the Nerve Sengokuhara outpost.
What's up?
We gotta go. Take a leak.
Really? Oh, come on, you guys. You should have done that earlier.
Honestly, stuff like this taps into one of the things I really love about Japan, the constant juxtaposition of tradition and modernity. Kintoki is simultaneously linked to Evangelion, a modern pop culture juggernaut, as well as having a strong association with Japanese folktale hero Kintaro, whose legend dates back to the Heian period about 1,000 years ago, give or take. And to illustrate my point, only a few minutes on from the Evangelion evacuation site is a shrine dedicated to Kintaro, who is said to have been born and raised by a witch on this very mountain. According to the folktale, Kintaro had superhuman strength, able to fight demons and to use his bare hands to fell trees, and he was often depicted wrestling with an enormous black koi to emphasize this. As a toddler, he supposedly wore only a bib with the kanji for gold on it and carried a hatchet around. This shrine depicts him with those signature items while riding a tame bear. I should also mention that the original version of the Kintoki shrine was a little further along the mountain path on top of a large rock. The rock had supposedly been kicked off the peak of the mountain by Kintaro himself. Leaving the shrine and entering the forest, you're soon surrounded by towering trees with the canopy far overhead. The path continues into a track hedged by mossy rocks and low-growing bamboo and surrounded by verdant greenery. Before long, you'll reach one of the landmarks of the hike, the Kintoki Yadori stone. This absolutely enormous rock has split neatly in two, repeatedly by the young Kintaro with his trusty axe. But it's time to move on and walk the trail for a bit. Given how popular this climb is, it's no surprise the trail is well maintained and easy to follow. There are almost no views while you're on the rocky forest path, but before too long the landscape starts to open up alongside you. The ascent also gets a little steeper and the steps kick in. I did this hike in mid-May and the trail was pretty busy with plenty of fellow hikers, both tourists and Japanese. You can see why it's so popular once you get to the top. Just check out how much Mount Fuji dominates the landscape. Even so, this outlook takes in a pretty impressive spread of the surrounding land. There's Mount Hakone and Lake Ashinoko, Mount Ashigara, and of course the breathtaking Fuji with the city of Gotemba sprawling beneath. It's no wonder this is such a popular hike. It really doesn't take long to reach this absolutely commanding viewpoint. No surprise then that so many people are doing it. It's popular with school groups too, as I soon discovered. And while you're up here, you can connect even more to the legend of Kintaro. There are multiple axes to pose with, not to mention demons to fight and bears to ride. Okay, I might have made those last two up. From the peak, there are a few options for heading back down, but I'm starting the descent on the opposite side of where I came in, heading west and then southwest. This direction largely follows a ridgeline and has gentler paths than the ascent, alongside some moderate ups and downs. You'll need to watch your footing at times, and when I was on the trail, there was a little mud, so it might be difficult in bad conditions. Most of the way, you're hemmed in by the forest path, so let's do this at speed. Wait, slow down. There are some views as you make your way along the ridgeline. It's pretty hard to beat the sight of Hakone's absolutely enormous calderas, for instance. And you'll also catch the odd glimpse of Fuji through the trees. Eventually, you'll reach a four-way junction called Otome Pass. The path to the left takes you back towards where you started, but I wanted to go in the opposite direction. And while admiring yet another incredible outlook on the famous mountain, I got to talking with some of the locals, one of whom was a 72-year-old whose hobby is working as a Mount Fuji guide. When I told him I was heading to the Fuji Hakkei Bathhouse, he explained he'd parked his motorbike near there and offered to show me the way. Sadly, there's very little footage of this adventure, as he wanted to chat and I didn't want to be rude, so I turned my camera off. The only time I filmed was when he took me on a shortcut and we slipped and slid down a pretty steep slice of mountain. That was too surreal not to capture. Did I mention this guy's 72? Along the way, my guide pointed out plum trees, mulberry trees, a cherry grove with a Fuji view, a whole area of maples, prickly ash trees whose berries are used to make sansho pepper seasoning powder. You might have had this on eel in Japan, and a whole lot more. I think we roughly followed this trail and eventually came out right where he parked and about 100 meters from the onsen I wanted to visit. Score. Fuji Hakkei's main draw is the fact that it has a premium view of Mount Fuji, which you'll see before you even walk in the door. Ironically, you have to work a little harder for your Fuji views in the bathhouse itself, which is divided into an indoor and outdoor area. Before we go any further, by the way, a quick disclaimer that since Fuji Hakkei's website is a relic of a bygone internet era, in order to give you an idea of what it's like, because you're obviously not allowed to film inside the changing room or bathing area, we're mostly going to be working off misleading AI-generated art or images upscaled from tiny thumbnails. Back to the bathhouse. Inside, there's a decent-sized main bath with a set of 3 jets at one end, as well as a small sauna and a teensy cold bath. Crucially, the men's and women's sections both have a large window out onto their respective outdoor areas, with Fuji framed on the horizon. Moving outside, there's a large rock bath as the centerpiece, as well as a ceramic tub and benches to sit on. The view is undeniably spectacular, but you can only see it properly from certain spots. For an adult, bathing at Fuji Hakkei costs 1,000 yen, with an additional 300 yen if you need towels. This is relatively expensive for what you get, as the bathing area is modest and the communal areas feel pretty old school, but hey, I can think of worse ways to unwind after a hike, and also I saved 200 yen on entry thanks to a voucher from my guardian angel, aka my personal 72-year-old guide. Fuji Hakkei is also, sadly, predictably, not cool with tattoos. Before leaving, I had just enough time to grab a meal at the bathhouse's restaurant, a delicious pork katsu Donburi set for only 900 yen, and a beer to wash it down.
Yeah!
Before I had to run to catch the bus back towards Hakone from a stop literally outside the onsen. So that was my day hiking Kintoki. I'd highly recommend it if you're anywhere in the vicinity, although whether you want to wander off through plum groves and cherry orchards in search of Fuji Hakkei, instead of just going to one of the countless bathhouses in Hakone itself, is more of a judgment call. Before we wrap this thing up, however, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Pete's Palanquins. Do you ever find yourself out hiking and think, I love the views when I get to the top, but boy, all this walking is a real balash. If only there was an easier way. Well, there is. Why use your legs like a sucker when you can be carried to your destination like the overgrown baby you are? Pete's Palanquins puts perambulation on pause, letting you kick back and enjoy the ride. Whether you're taking one of our affordable little litters, or you've splurged on the deluxe, posh and pretentious Palanchen, which comes with its own robot butler, as well as a literal air of superiority. No, really, we shipped it in from only the most pompous of parlours. Use the code CAMPICAM and you'll receive a 10% discount in your quest to completely miss the point of hiking. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll leave you with one last look at the Japanese icon to beat all icons. No, not quite. Nailed it. Catch you for the next video, and Kampai!